Well, hello there. I'm Jamie Kizer with BizPeake Journal, and we are here at Crow Vineyards in Kent County. And so, if you could each just please introduce yourselves and tell what your role is here at the vineyard.
I'm Judy Crow. I'm the owner of Crow Vineyard and Winery, and we also have Crow Farm. Crow Vineyard and Winery is the winemaking production of the farm business, and then we also have a herd of Angus beef and a bed and breakfast here.
It's a lot.
Yep.
My name is Katrina North. I'm the winemaker here at Crow Vineyard.
My name is Brandon Hoy, and I am the vineyard manager and partner in Crow Vineyard and Winery.
Well, thank you for taking your time today. I really appreciate it. We wanted to talk first of all about the business, kind of how it got started, how it has evolved to where it is today, and each, again, of the roles that you play and your part in it.
I think it started about 7 years ago. Well, it did start 7 years ago when Roy and I got married. And the farm had been in his family for 3 generations, and he was looking for a way to diversify the farm and make it interesting. And we have 5 sons between us, so when we got married, we were like, see if we can't get youth back to the farm. And the first thing we did was we had to renovate the main bed and breakfast house, and we got that up and running. Brandon helped us a little bit with that, or helped us quite substantially with that. And then we planted the grapes, and once we planted the grapes, we really begged and pleaded with Brandon, wouldn't he like to have a part in this? And that's kind of where he is, so.
So this was not originally a vineyard. What was the
No,
farm?
it was a dairy farm, and in
Okay.
2001, Roy sold the dairy herd, and he bought an insurance agency in Middletown, and then when I met him, it was primarily corn and soybeans and some hay.
Oh, okay. Okay. And that's the point when you kind of realized
Yeah.
to look at ways to maximize. And where did the vineyard come in?
Roy and Judy's kind of conversation about, well, maybe we could do a vineyard, and then they brought me into that conversation and to kind of oversee that. But I think it was probably your original idea.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool, and Roy, because he's a farmer and he's really interested in growing, we started going to some workshops, and he got super excited about it and said, yeah, you know, I think we could do this. I know a lot about the ground, and Brandon's young and he has a lot of energy. We're old and we're getting so that's what that's all about. We have a lot of great ideas, but we need someone to help us implement our ideas.
Execution.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Well, let's talk about the winery a little bit, and then I want to go into the bed and breakfast and just the whole evolution of it. But from a vineyard perspective, or even a winery, just to say, okay, we're going to start one. Where does one start?
Yeah, Brandon can talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, we started with just the conversation, okay, we think we can do this. With Roy's farming background, we felt comfortable that we could potentially grow commercial grapes. At the time, there was a vineyard management company about 15 minutes from us, and Schmidt Vineyard Management Company came in and really helped us get started. So they helped us plant our first 3 acres, helped us with management, helped us kind of give us the layout for a year's worth of work basically that went on in the vineyard. And then in, I guess, 2011, early 2011, maybe winter of 2011, we met John Levenberg, who is a winemaking consultant, and he's been kind of working in the area on the East Coast, and we started working with him, and he really pushed us to say, okay, we can make wine here, and he really set up our facility and kind of set up our protocols for making wine here.
And the vision. Did you have, in terms of the skill set to manage this project, is it something that, for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's like, you know, you jump and then you build a plane as you're going down. Did you have a foundation of business principles, or have you just were learning along the way?
A lot of it was shooting from the hip. We wouldn't have been in the place we were if we didn't have, one, Roy's kind of background in farming, and then also our consultants really helping us along. But I didn't have a lot of the practical experience of farming or working in a winery. I had a lot of energy and enthusiasm, I think, and I just was really good at evaluating how to do things and listen to when people tell you to do something and do it right, and if it didn't work, come up with a new method of trying to make it work.
In our facility.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm a native of Western New York, so I grew up in the Finger Lakes, which it turned out to be really good timing of a time to grow up because the Finger Lakes was really finding its identity when I started working in the wine industry. So I seem to have gone to working in places that are also finding their identities. So it was a good match without me knowing it. I said to myself I would work. Didn't originally want to be a winemaker, but it was kind of something that was always around, and I decided it would be a good way to combine a lot of my interests after leaving college. So traveled around a little bit, went to school in Australia, came back to the West Coast, worked at my requisite very large winery, 1 million cases a year in California, and then I was recruited back to southeastern PA to the job I mentioned before. So
That's really healthy. Very, very healthy.
We tried.
What is working with family? If you can talk.
Well, sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's not so easy. I think the easy times are when, like, I can start an idea or a sentence and Brandon knows me well enough, he can finish it. And I think the hard times are when we are all, really tired and like any other relationship, when you're tired and overworked, you always seem to lash out at the ones that are right there in your household. So we have to kind of really work at that and sort of make sure that, we're always very respectful. At least that's my perception of what it's like.
Well, now, since this is where you live as well, how about a work-life balance or separation? Is it hard to get away from it sometimes?
Well, me, yeah.
Judy.
Very definitely. That's extremely, extremely hard, to leave, because on weekends you're here with all the guests and you want them to feel the same way, like you want your employees to feel like you're part of the family. So there's a lot of effort to make sure that they are infused and integrated with their stay here at the farm, and they feel like they know us and that they're family. And then Monday comes around and it's like, I just want to get off the farm, and it's really hard to get off because there's so many things that need to be done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get ready again for the next upcoming event or weekend.
From a marketing perspective, what are your marketing strategies here currently?
We use a lot of social media. Website is really important. The biggest marketing piece we have is when people walk in the door, and they have found us via one of the wine trails, either the Vintage Atlantic Wine Region or the Chesapeake Wine Trail or one of the Maryland wine trails. And then once that door is open, they're ours. If they've driven up the lane, they get to hear everything that we have to offer, and we get them to sign up for our constant contact. And each month we're adding a few more 100 people to that once a month mailing, so that sort of helps us grow our business. We do a few selected outside events. We do lots of internal special events, and every time we have a special event here, that's a captive audience. They're here, so we tell them all about us and try and get them to join our wine club or spend more time with us or stay at the B&B.
Is that advice that you would give other business owners as well, if you could share, actually from each of your perspectives, if you could share some piece of wisdom, to business owners or someone just starting, or do you have any words of wisdom?
Well, I would speak back to balance. I think that's really key to running a successful business, is understanding your own limitations and what you bring to the table, and maybe finding the appropriate staff or whoever it is that can help you along the way. But that all plays into this idea of balance, and whether it's finding balance with work and family, or finding balance with just even your daily chores or whatever you're doing. I think that's key, is making sure that you're kind of grounded and balanced in going through your venture, basically.
How about you? Because it can become all consuming, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. What?
People call it a passion profession. You have professions and you have passion professions. This would be one where you wake up in the morning thinking about Barbera.
Yeah. Or worrying.
Yeah, that's great though.
Not being a business owner myself, but anybody getting into this industry, I would say do not be afraid to talk to people that have had more experience than you, because they are going to be your most valuable resource. Reading is one thing, but talking to someone, at least for me, that has actually done something is very, very valuable. I call them my circle of trust. So.
Oh, I love that. The community of winemakers and vineyards, it seems like it's a very close community, very supportive, because you have unique challenges than any other business.
Yeah, it's a pretty supportive industry, and the cool thing about the wine industry is that, you know, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're all doing the same thing at the same time. And in the Southern Hemisphere, it's a mirror image, so you can really, you know, I can sit next to someone that speaks German, but we still understand what has happened to get to, you know, the wine that we're tasting. So it's a nice shared experience.
That's great.
Yeah.
And your words of wisdom?
Well, this is, I think, for me, you know, starting this business sort of late in life, I have a lot of experience up to this point. Finding the right people that can advise you and support you, recognizing, as Brandon said, the limitations, but being able to articulate a vision so that others can follow. So, you know, once you have clearly laid out your vision and you know what skills people need to have in order to carry out the vision, then you can start building your business and, you know, sort of putting people in key places to help support you.
Great advice. I mean, all of you just so wonderful. And then lastly, speaking of vision, what is the vision? What's it?
I think the vision for us is to sustain this family farm, to protect it from being sold off into little pieces, and to create a business model that several different families or several different individuals can garner some revenue from this. So that's sort of where our vision is. And you know, when Roy and I get ready to retire, maybe 10 years from now, we'll be sitting out there like the Walmart greeters and they're welcoming everybody. That's our vision. I think Brandon's vision is maybe a little different because he's the next generation and you're the next generation. You two should probably talk about what your vision is, because ours is retirement.
Absolutely. Isn't it so interesting too? How, you know, everyone can have different visions, but how they're all kind of toward a common vision as well, a goal. So yeah, please speak to that point of vision.
Well, I guess, you know, my overall vision is I see a very successful business, and that business hopefully will survive and will be passed on. I think we have a really good brand. I think our wines are spectacular. I think we're making very good progress on the fruit that we can grow here, and we're making really nice wines. And I think for me, seeing that growth and seeing people actually go, wow, you can make great wines here on the East Coast is very rewarding. And that's kind of my vision, is kind of moving us forward in that direction.
Where can people find the wines?
Oh, goodness.
Maryland and Delaware.
Yeah.
We can self-distribute in Maryland, Delaware. We have to use a distributor, but we do our own sales in Delaware. There are 39 outlets in Delaware, probably about another 39 in Maryland. Liquor stores, restaurants, throughout, you know, this region. That's Myrtle that wants to come here.
A valuable member of the team.
She's the official breeder.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was incredibly helpful. It's an exciting time to be in this industry. And we are obviously going to encourage all of our BizPeake readers to come and visit the winery, stay at the bed and breakfast, and just enjoy their time here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.